Welcome to Coffee with a Closer. I'm Michelle Garibay, your host, where we're sitting down with real estate agents who are doing things at a high level and learning some of the secrets behind the success. And you're in for a treat today because I have an agent who has been named the #1 agent in Grays Lake. She is a rock star. She went from principal to teacher, or maybe teacher to principal to real estate rock star agent, Jodi Cinq-Mars.
Hi, thank you for having me. And yes, I'm #1 today. That changes. We have some great agents in the area.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So before we get started in the interview, I always like to kind of learn a little bit of the behind story. So tell us a little bit about you and maybe how you got into real estate.
So I was a teacher and a principal in Grays Lake for 23 years. And a friend of mine that is now an agent on my team as well said, let's go get our license. And I said, I don't think I would use it, but I'll go with you for support.
Okay.
I ended up going into real estate. She continued to teach. She just retired last year. And I've been doing real estate. I started in 2018.
Okay.
And we actually moved 2 months after I got my license to Pennsylvania. So I got my Pennsylvania license.
Okay.
And then I started practicing there. During COVID, we moved back, and I continued my practice in Illinois.
So really, you have only been doing this since, I shouldn't say only, but
Yeah.
like less than 10 years.
That's exactly right. And I came back to Illinois in 2020
Okay.
as a team. I joined a team, and then I left that team in 22.
Okay.
So on my own with the team I've built since 2022.
Okay, amazing.
So 4 years.
Amazing. And family, you guys are now live in Grays Lake, right? Or
Live in
the
Grays
area?
Lake, but my boys are flown and grown, and so Zach and Sarah have a little guy, Matthew, and I love spending time with him, and they were in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So they stayed there, and then Zach is an engineer, and Tyler is in Minnesota, and he spends time with Olivia, and he's a doctor in physical therapy.
Okay.
And I reside with my little dog, Oakley.
Aw.
So, yes, we're in Grays Lake.
Tell me about that transition. So what made you, I know you kind of just went and got your license, and what did that look like when you were new in the business, right? Because you were a teacher, so you knew people, but how did you kind of get business when you were new in real estate?
So it's interesting because when I first started, like I said, we moved to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I knew no one. I couldn't even find my way to the grocery store.
Right.
So I joined a team. And I just watched and I learned and I listened for 2 years. And I think that was the best thing I could have ever done because I did not do a lot of business. I did 7 transactions in 2 years.
Okay.
Because I didn't know how to get business and I didn't know anyone, but I assisted and I just soaked in all the knowledge that I could. And I watched transaction after transaction to see what did they do? What did they say? How did this work? And then when I came back, I hit the ground running. So the moving truck came back on a Tuesday. I had a house listed on Wednesday.
Okay.
It was under contract by Friday, and I never looked back.
Really?
So then I had a former student say, oh, set me up on a search. We're going to start looking. By Monday, we had her under contract.
Oh, wow.
And then we just kept going. So a lot of what I did in my world of education has come back. And what I didn't know is I was building my SOI, my sphere of influence. And I was building people that know, love, and trust me through the world of education.
Right.
And those are the people that know, love, and trust me and come to me for my real estate.
How do you use, having the background in education, how do you kind of use that when you're working with your buyers or your sellers?
The exact same way I ran my classroom.
Okay.
We have systems, we have processes, clear communication, and clear expectations. When you have those 4 pillars, you plug and you play. And so my clients want to know, what's the system? What's the process? We want things to run smoothly. We want them to know what they can expect. This is not something that people do on a daily basis. We don't expect them to know what's next. So when you have clear systems and processes, you communicate clearly, they know what to expect, the transaction goes much easier and much smoother.
That's amazing. I think that's one of the biggest fears that somebody has coming into the market, you know, especially maybe if they're a first-time home buyers, like they don't know what to expect, right? And they're sometimes afraid to ask. So, you know, having the experience and kind of knowing ahead of time, these are some things that we might encounter, because as much as we want to make it a smooth ride, it might not always be, but kind of preparing them for, you know, this is potential things that could happen.
Right.
It's important.
Exactly. And just understanding the process as a buyer and as a seller, as I had just gone through that. Going to Pennsylvania, I told my agent, I'm looking for a house in this price range. It was the price range that I had sold in Grays Lake. She kept taking me to homes that needed to be knocked down and were terrifying. And I was like, why are you bringing me here? Can I show you what I'm talking about? And she goes, oh, that's this price range. So sometimes people coming from different states don't recognize that what's a price point that you're accustomed to in your state does not buy you the same thing in this state. And so knowing that and understanding what someone is looking for and what they need, and then plugging in the system is very important.
How when you sit down with like a new buyer, what kinds of questions or what things maybe that they might not realize are important to them? Like what kinds of questions would you ask?
Well, I asked them, our tagline is love where you work, live, and play. Where are you going to be working? Is that in your home? Do you have to drive to your office? Do you need to commute via Metro? You know, because if that's the case, we want to be close to the train station so that if a kid needs a car for the day, you could walk there if needed. Or, you know, what's important to you? Where do you work? Where do you want to live? What's important in your house? Some people, it's a bathtub. They're going to soak in a tub every night. We have to have that tub. Or some people, it's the garage. Or some people, it's the outdoor space. For me, it's that front porch. I want that front porch. So where do you want to live and what's important in that live space? And then where do you play? What's your weekend look like? Do you need to be able to get to Wilmot to ski? Or do you want to get to the lake and be on the boat? You know, what's important to you in each season? So understanding where they work, live, and play, and then coming up with their price point. Which is how I partner with lenders to help them understand what does this price point look like and what's truly available within that. The worst thing to do is to go out, start looking for what they want, and then tell them, oh, that's $200,000 more than you can spend, or you know, something like that. So understanding all those things up front.
Yeah, you don't want them to fall in love with the property just to say, oh, sorry, you can't afford this.
Do that. The other thing that I like to do in my buyer consult is really lay out what expenses there will be along the line. You will have an appraisal. You will have earnest money. You will have an inspection. So these are expenses that, you know, that you will be putting out. Are you ready for that? Especially my first-time buyers, because a lot of times money is tight. And so knowing where to transfer money and to have it available is important so that they're not freaking out. The quickest way to lose a deal is to not tell them what to expect up front. And then they find out, I've got to pay for an inspection. I also have to put down earnest money within 3 days. I don't have that. I'm freaking out. Forget it. And they walk away. So giving them that information up front so they can have the funds in the proper accounts ready to go and
so important.
Feel prepared is very important.
Yeah, I think I've heard the term like a confused buyer doesn't buy, right? So making sure they really understand what's going on and preparing them for those little things.
Right.
Yeah, I can see how you really put education into your clients. So that's awesome. Do you have a passion for maybe helping like teachers or?
I do. So educators are my heartbeat. I loved education. I loved serving in the schools, serving families, serving students. I have 3 of my students working for me now.
Really?
So that's kind of fun.
Okay.
But yeah, educators are really my heartbeat. So if I can help serve them, because I know what they do day in and day out, and I know how much they give to the community and to the students and to the parents. And if I can give back even just a little bit to them, that's really important to me. I also know that educators are very good at homework and they are very good at task lists. So if I give them a list of things to do, it will get checked off. They want their gold star. So they're great clients.
It's funny that you say that because I have a couple clients right now that are teachers and they are awesome at getting me all the documents I ask for.
They are. They're so spot on. So yes, I love working with them.
Now, I know you are also kind of big into community service, right? I know you've done like food drives and a couple other different things that I've seen. Can you tell me a little bit about what community events you've done and maybe why that's important to you?
Well, I believe in loving where you work, live, and play. And for me, real estate, we talked about you're number one. And yes, today I am. But I don't really care about that in the transaction. I care about the people behind the transaction.
Yeah.
So for me, serving the community is about being part of your community. And so I don't like to put my name on something unless I'm showing up. And so we show up, and we show up in a way that makes a difference to the people that we are neighbors with.
Yeah.
And so that's what's important to me. We serve Chicago to Milwaukee. I'm Illinois and Wisconsin.
Okay.
I'm also licensed in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
But what I care about is Lake County. What I care about is my community, my neighbors. And, I just believe in abundance and that there's enough to go around. And yes, I could go capture the market for, from Chicago to Milwaukee, but I want my community. And so when I show up, it's something that I believe in. It's something I give back to. That's typically schools, sports. We do a lot of teacher events.
I heard you speak on a panel one time, and there was a time where the local food pantry, I think, was bare bones, right? And you went out and kind of, what did you do?
So Michelle Bauman is the supervisor for the Avon food pantry.
Yeah.
I taught her kids, so we have a relationship.
Okay.
I heard that the shelves were bare.
Yeah.
And my teacher friends were talking to me and said, do you realize that 63% of our students, our clients, are coming to school without food because the shelves are bare and they access food from this pantry.
Yeah.
And so when that happens, they're coming to school hungry. I don't know if you've ever been in a classroom with 30 students, but when 63% of them are hungry, it doesn't make for a great day. And so as a teacher, I always had snacks. I always had something, but to feed 63% of them, that's expensive.
Yeah.
So, I always had the extra snack, and I would stick it in the locker of the kid that maybe needed that little extra. But that moved me because I know the impact of that in the classroom, and the teachers were saying, we're seeing this. We're seeing this show up, and we're seeing kids come to school tired and hungry and heads on the desk, and, what are we going to do? And so, I cannot fill an entire food pantry, but what we did was we reached out to Mike Pruitt at the Vine. And I said, hey, we need help. What can we do about this? And then within the day, we had 30 businesses downtown Grays Lake all collecting food. We filled the pantry that week, and they were back in business to the point of other pantries were coming to get food from them. We had overflow.
Amazing.
And again, that wasn't necessarily just me. That was seeing a need, acting on the need, and partnering with the community around me.
Yeah, I too really believe in community service. I have a belief that, as our business grows, so does our responsibility to give back, right? And even I think a lot of people want to help, but they don't necessarily know how. So it
Right.
takes somebody to kind of step up and say, okay, I'm going to organize this, and this is what we need to do to come together. And yeah, so that's amazing that you did that.
Yeah, no, that's one of the fun things that we get to do, when we give back. We also like to do, practical things. So there's the farmers market in Grace Lake every Wednesday from 1 o'clock until 7. I love the farmers market. It's just so cute. But if you've ever been out with your kids or even yourself and you've got to go to the bathroom, where are you going to go? Because there's not a porta potty there. Where do you go to the bathroom? And that can actually ruin the whole day if you've got a kid that needs to go to the bathroom. So our idea was we don't sell anything at the farmers market, but we open the door. We provide a cool place to come in and sit. We open the door to the bathrooms. We have snacks and water. So we want to be a home away from home. So if you're out and about, we have kids that now know when they're out and about, they come in because we have animal crackers. We have water bottles. They'll come in and go potty. So we open our bathrooms to whoever needs that. And also to be able to sit in the cool air if it's really hot.
Yeah.
There was a storm one day. It was raining sideways. People came into shelter. That's who we want to be. We want to show up as that safe place for people.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I love that.
It's fun.
Most of your business that you kind of get, is it all by referral, or would you say, what percentage do you think would be like a referral-based business?
I think most of my business is referral based. I would say maybe 70%.
Okay.
Now, we do access leads, and I do that for the team.
Sure.
And so if you're an agent on my team, you do have access to a lead. A lead to me is just an introduction to someone you don't know.
Sure.
It may, sometimes people talk about good or bad leads. There's no good or bad lead.
Yeah.
A lead is someone you didn't know. And so it's an opportunity to meet them, and then serve their friends and family. Yeah. So I don't personally take leads. I use my, my sphere. So for me, it's people coming to me, and the majority of my clients come from education or parents or students. Now my students are buying houses, which means I'm getting old, which I don't like to think about, but it's true. And when my students are coming in with their children, it's like, oh, shoot.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of mortgages that I've done for my clients' kids, so I'm getting old too.
Yes.
So how do you, your sphere that you get business, how do you kind of stay in touch with them, or how do you keep reminding them more so that you're in real estate?
Mm-hmm. Well, again, we just try to show up in the community.
Okay.
We do pop-bys, so we will, take things by the house. I try to make a call if I'm looking for. Recently, I was looking for an electrician. More and more, we're seeing people that need the electric car chargers in their garage.
Oh.
So I'm like, I need a good electrician that can get in here and install these chargers.
Yeah.
And they need to know what they're doing. So I called probably 20, 30 people in my sphere and said, hey, do you drive an electric car? I thought you had looked at that. Who did you use? What, can you recommend? And I do that for my plumbers if I'm looking for, someone to put on my list.
Okay.
We've got a list, a got a guy list. And if you're on our list, you're not just on there because you're working that trade, you're proven. Someone has used you and will vouch for you. Or I have used you and will vouch for you. So that's important to me. I don't pass along names that I don't trust myself.
Sure.
So, so I reach out to people. We have client events. We're about to have a big event at the Freeze. And we bring in DJs and face painters. It's a family event. Come get a scoop of ice cream, whatever you want. We've got spoons that turn colors.
Oh, how fun.
So that's super fun. We sponsor golf outings mostly for the high schools.
Okay.
We're doing Grays Lake North. We'll do the Rams dugout, Grays Lake Central. We do one for, I'm a big dog lover. So it's an organization that fosters dogs and cats, and so
Okay.
we do an event, golf outing with them.
So just kind of staying in the community and doing events. And when you say pop by, do you ever like pop by your old clients or?
Yes, and so maybe we'll take them mums in the fall, and we take them hot chocolate jars when it's freezing cold out. We might take, trying to think of some of the other things we've taken by, pinwheels in the spring for the kids, you know, those little twirly things. But yeah, just something fun that says, hey, I'm thinking of you. How's it going? And just checking in with clients to see how's the house, how is everything, you know, is it everything you dreamed of? Sometimes you hear yes, and sometimes you hear, you know what, we're getting transferred, and you're like, oh boy. So what can we do? How can I help you with that?
Yeah, yeah. Everyone has those life changes. It's just kind of listening and you know, when you have a relationship, those are the questions that you can ask.
Right.
At what point in your career, you know, you got busy, at what point did you realize that you needed to have like kind of a team?
Yes. So I started on my own February of 22.
Okay.
And I went to Keller Williams.
Okay.
I love Keller Williams. I went to them because of their education
Okay.
aspect. They do a great job with support and education. So I said, okay, I'm going with Keller Williams. And I was on my own. And the next thing you know, I had another agent say, hey, can I partner up with you? And then another, and then another. And I'm like, you guys, I don't know what I'm doing yet. I did, but I wasn't sure. And so then we figured it out together. So the team came along, and the good news is I went to Keller Williams and I said, help me. I don't want to mess this up. Now I'm responsible for other people.
Right.
And so I've always been a collaborative person, but I'm also fiercely independent. So I'm not a good babysitter. People that asked me to babysit, it was not good. I let their kids do wild things, and they were like, what the heck happened in this house? I'm the same today. I am not a good babysitter. If you come to work with me, you've got to have your own drive. You've got to have your own ambitions. You're coming to partner with me simply to run hard together and have more fun. The value that we find in each other, I hope I make you stronger. I hope you make me stronger. And so it is a true partnership that we come together and we're able to thrive because we can do more together.
You guys kind of motivate each other?
We motivate each other. The services we provide, we have a white glove concierge service from the time that someone signs a listing paper until they go live. Brandy Cornett is bar none the best stager in the whole world.
Okay.
And she comes in and she can take a house. I'll walk into the house and go, oh boy. And when I see it, I'm like, is that the same house? Like, what just happened?
Wow.
And the clients will talk about it for years. They'll say, oh, well, Brandy would not approve of this. When we're looking at houses, they'll say, oh, Brandy would not approve of this. You know? So she trains them well. So we've got the staging. We've got the professional photography. I've got a social media gal, Heidi, that does my social media, and she is fantastic. And she really tells the story of our team and who we are and how we want to show up. She is the face. So, you know, you get a lot with the team that to do it on your own, it's a lot. It's, you know, you would need we have transaction coordinators. We've got someone running the whole back office and planning all the events. I probably do 20 events a year.
Really?
So, I mean, it's a lot.
Okay.
And there are some months I'm like, what am I doing? It's 5 events down and we're tired.
Yeah.
But it's a way to be there and show up and represent well. So,
Do you, because you're so busy, do you ever have any free time?
I do. I make it. And I call it networking.
Okay.
And so I golf.
Okay.
I golf on Thursday mornings, and I love that. I like to play pickleball. I go to the gym.
Okay.
I do that early. I like my spin class. I like yoga, Pilates, and boot camp. I did CrossFit, and then I tore my knees up, and I'm like,
Oh, no.
I'm done with this. So yes, I like to work out. I like to be outside. I love sitting outside listening to music. So Independence Grove has their, music outside. I love going to that. Ravinia.
All right. So you've mentioned that you work, you live, you play in Grays Lake. That's kind of your area, Lake County. What makes Grays Lake such a great area to live?
Well, I think it's the people. So you don't get what you get in Grays Lake, I don't think anywhere else. I mean, Libertyville is adorable, right? All the shops, but the people in Grays Lake make it Grays Lake for me.
Yeah.
So, fun story, when we were moving to Pittsburgh, I ran to the grocery store. It was Tyler's graduation, my birthday.
Okay.
And I got stopped by 20 people at the grocery store, and I came home and I was a hot mess because I was trying to get to graduation. I couldn't even shower. And I was like, I just want to walk through the grocery store without talking to all these people. And I was having a meltdown. Fast forward, 2 months later, I'm in Pittsburgh. I walk in from the grocery store and literally fell on the floor sobbing. And I said, not one person talked to me at the grocery store. And I'm like, I didn't realize what we had in Grays Lake until I didn't have it. And so, it's the people. It's the person that waves to you, that watches out for you, that, we had a client's dog bolt. Go on the lam. This dog was running for the hills, and we were like, "Wah!" And they were in Florida. So I put out the APB help. We had over 1,000 people looking for that dog.
Really?
Coco. Search to find Coco. It was 4 days. The dog walked itself to the police department and laid down in front of the door.
Really?
At the end of 4 days. It was like a movie. We were like, what just happened here?
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm glad it had a good ending.
I am too. But if you're a dog and you're lost, you should go to Prairie Crossing. They were literally grilling steak and making shrimp for the dog.
Really?
And leaving it on their porch, trying to lure the dog in. If I'm ever a lost dog, I want to go to Prairie Crossing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right, I'm going to hit you with a few rapid fire questions. So I always ask this question. The podcast is called Coffee with a Closer. What's your favorite coffee drink?
I do not drink coffee. No one will let me.
Really?
I have ADHD. If I start drinking coffee, God help us all. So no coffee for me.
What's your favorite drink?
Diet Coke.
Okay, I'm a Diet Coke person too.
Yes.
Are you a reader?
Yes.
All right, what's your favorite book?
Let me think. Present Over Perfect is one that I've just read.
Okay.
And I love that. Shauna Niequist.
Present Over Perfect.
Present Over Perfect.
Okay.
And that's a great one. I'm reading one about money right now, how to invest it, how to save it, and how to make it, I guess. John Hill, maybe, is the author of that one. I like self-help books.
Okay.
I do like fiction. It Ends With Me, It Starts With Me, that series I read. I love to read. I read 20 minutes a night, regardless. I think that's the teacher in me that made the kids do it for so long.
Yeah.
I believe in that. So that's how I put myself to sleep. I will read every night. So
After I asked the question, it hit me. Okay, she's a former teacher. Of course, she's a reader.
I'm a reader. I love to read.
That's awesome. If you were to recommend a book to a new real estate agent, what would you think would be maybe a good book for them?
The Go-Getter
Okay.
is great. Selling Ninja is another great book.
Ninja Selling, I've read that book. That's awesome. Favorite local restaurant?
Favorite local restaurant. I love The Vine. I also love Cooper's Hawk.
Yeah. That one has come up.
Yeah. Lazy Dog is fun.
Yeah.
Loretta's is one of our favorites.
Where's that?
Oh, it's on 45.
Okay.
And it's just a little Italian place, but everything there is homemade.
Oh,
really good.
I'll have to try that one. I haven't been there.
And then one of my favorite places to eat is the Come On In on 45 in Gages Lake.
Really?
It is a dive bar.
Okay.
And I put quotes around that for those that can't see me. The food is unbelievably good. Best French fries in all of Lake County. Best guacamole ever.
Okay.
And I joked, I said I went into real estate because I just wanted to be able to order guacamole without feeling guilty.
Yeah.
And I order guacamole there all the time.
That's funny because I've always seen that place
yeah.
when I'm going to like Gray's Lake, and I've never been in there.
I had never gone in there either. And then I had friends that said, oh, we should eat there. And I'm like, really? So good.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would be maybe one habit that you would recommend to a new real estate agent?
You need to get up and get outside and talk to people.
Okay.
And whatever that looks like, whether it's your CrossFit or your gym or your church or your walking path, do something you love.
Yeah.
And don't make it work. I'm excited to get up every day.
Yeah.
I think we should live a life we love. So to me, when people start talking about the dreaded, I need to spend 2 hours in my calls and calling people, I don't do that. I go do something I love and I connect with people.
And talk to people.
And then I follow up with my clients, but I love my clients. So that's not hard. That's not drudgery.
Yeah.
And I know each agent has a different model. I don't cold call. That's not my model, but I know very successful agents that do.
Yeah.
But I don't dread being on the phone because if I'm on the phone, I'm either providing a service, getting help with something, or connecting with someone I love.
Well, thank you so much for being here today. I know you have a busy schedule. If somebody wanted to get in touch with you, what would be the best way for them to do that?
Well, we have a website. It's Cinq-Mars and Cinq-Mars is a weird name. So it's CINQMARSGROUP.com. My phone number is 847-767-7358. If you text me, I will get back to you. And if you email me at jcinqmars@kw.com, then there's help because my admin can also assist you. So lots of ways to get in touch with us.
Fantastic. Thank you for listening to Coffee with a Closer. This is Michelle Garibay. And if you would like to get in contact with me, you can reach me on my cell, which is 262-496-4582, or follow me on social.